What's going on, guys? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida. And right now we're offloading this vanity into the storage unit. This actually isn't a junk job. I actually got this off of a job from a contractor friend I used to live next to. Thought I may be using it for our own bathroom remodel, but it's a little bit too big. So I'm gonna try to sell it on Facebook. I think I could sell it for at least 50 to 100 bucks. They go on Home Depot brand new for about $289. It's overall in pretty good condition. I just have to reposition some of the drawers because it's been upside down in my truck for 2 days, but it hasn't rained out and I haven't had any debris or anything smacking into it. And really it's in great shape. It just needs a countertop, which most people add on anyways. So just the shell sells for $289. So I think 50 to 100 bucks is reasonable. And then we're gonna go ahead and come back here later today and grab the metal, because tomorrow morning is Saturday and that is when I do my scrap runs if I don't have a job lined up. Today we're going to head to the dump to drop off some construction debris I had from a job a couple of days ago, and then we'll be doing a ghost route. So what I've been doing this year for ghost routes, instead of just driving around throughout the cities, is I'll park out by busy places nearby, like a Home Depot, a Lowe's. There's a gas station in between both of those right off the highway that gets a ton of traffic. Walmart, Target, Publix, and then even this storage unit too. This has a loading dock that gets super busy during the day and I have access to it. So I like to come by and hang out with my trailer for 15, 20 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do for the day. And then I just wanna talk about a couple of goals I have heading into the direction for 2023 that I've kind of done some research and thought about, and I'm a little bit more set in stone for. All right, we just got to the dump, but I wanted to get into a couple of things. First of all, Monday we're going to be going to property management offices for the first time to do marketing. I basically just Googled property management near me, found a list of companies, anything that had a physical address I wrote down, and then anything that didn't have a physical address, I'm going to have my girlfriend who works in property management write me up an email that's going to stand out to them. But I like to also look at their website bio and really look at what exactly they offer, so that when I go to walk in, I can set up a pitch in my head and I can say, you know, I read into your business a little bit and I saw you guys specialize in move in, move out, and maintenance for condos, apartment buildings, multiple units, or houses. So that way I could say I can provide junk removal, and then I can name off the examples for what they would need me for. So I'm not just saying, hey, I do junk removal, here you go. I'm starting off by saying, this is how I can benefit your company. So I personally find that to be beneficial. I've done that with other professionals in the past as well, and I feel like it at least makes me feel more confident, if anything else. So quick tip. So in terms of the business for long term, I've always had two options I kind of wanted to take. The first one is to grow a team of 2 to 4 guys so I can run a couple of trucks, and I personally just do a little bit more of the operation size of it. And by having a smaller team, if someone has a call out or it's a really big job or someone takes a vacation, then of course I can jump in and, you know, kind of take over. The second option is to do self-service. So trailer rentals, for example. I've wanted to do that since day one. This isn't like just oh, everyone else is doing it, I want to jump on board. I've always liked the idea of doing that because you're essentially allowing other people to do the labor for you without having to employ them. Now, there's a company nearby me locally that does rentals with their actual junk trucks, and they'll just park it right in the driveway as is. But they give you a time limit depending on how big of load size it is. So I believe they do what we charge, which is, you know, typically you would do a free 30 minutes of labor per a quarter of a truck. So if you're filling up a quarter of a load, it should take you no more than 30 minutes. If you're doing a full load, it should take you no more than 2 hours with the 2-man crew. And if you're, you know, exceeding that, then there should be a reason why, and then you should charge accordingly, whether it's a long walk, stairs, or to clean out or whatever. So I was thinking of doing something like that, but I'd probably give them a little bit of a grace period by maybe doubling that time. So instead of doing 30 minutes for a quarter load, I'll give them an hour. So a full load, instead of being 2 hours, they have 4 hours to do it, because they're not professionals. They're not going to be moving at the same pace as we would. So I think that would be a little bit more of a kind of a way to stand out. Another thing too is kind of like how U-Haul lets you rent their dollies and hand trucks. I'm thinking of providing it for free use on the job and only charge for it if it gets damaged or goes missing. And I think that'll just kind of really help stand out as well, because at that point, there's nothing really stopping the client from doing stuff. I could also charge for contractor bags by the bulk size, just to kind of help get a little bit extra profit through material on my end. So, you know, at the end of the day, it would really just be charged by the volume. So the same thing as junk removal. The only difference is they have time limits, and they would only get back charges depending on what they're loading, or if they load stuff they're not supposed to, then, you know, they would get a back charge to their card. So I'm thinking that's the route I'm going to be taking. But of course, as we go farther down, you know, we'll alternate as needed and adjust and adapt. Once I get the trailer rental, which I'm hoping to do by spring or summer, I'll of course adjust my plan as necessary. But with my future plans in my personal life, I'm thinking self-service will be the better route to take. And that's where I'm really leaning towards. All right, first stop of the ghost route is Lowe's hardware store. You can see where we are in relevance to the front. We are right by their main entry point for their parking lot, which gets a lot of traffic, and I am pretty much the only vehicle parked here other than this one pickup truck and the system that collects all the carts. So I'm already catching eyes. I've already seen quite a few of them stop and kind of slow down, look at the trailer, which is perfect. That's what you want. Lowe's and Home Depot are perfect contractors, and those are the ones that call you and say, hey, I saw your truck out by so-and-so. I'm a contractor and I usually have debris I need to get rid of, you know, and start asking you questions, and that's a perfect connection to make. So we will be sitting out here for about 25-30 minutes, and then I'll hop over to Home Depot, and then I'll continue on my day. I wanted to make a little side note here, quick little rant. I had a 1-800-GOT-JUNK truck parked next to me at a restaurant last night that we went to, and I've been calling bullshit on their 8-foot width for the last few years. And, you know, I thought, you know what? Let me go ahead and measure it. Popped out my measurement. It was 84 inches on the dot from outside to outside of the back of their bed. And that's only 7 feet. Now, the thing about it is you got to figure you have a couple of inches of steel on each side. So the inside of the bed is probably closer to 6.5 feet. Now, the reason why this is such an issue for me is they advertise that they're 10 by 8 by 5, which is 400 cubic feet. Realistically, if it's 10 by 7 by 5, that's 350. If you knock it down to their probably more realistic number, which is 6.5 feet wide, they're 325 cubic feet. Now, I know some areas vary by their truck size and actual dimensions, but for the most part, they are nationally known for being 10 foot by 8 foot with 5 foot sides. So I'm just putting it out there. That's a really big difference to be advertising. That's false advertisement right there. I try to be transparent about the size of my truck so people would know what they're paying for, which is also why my prices are a little cheaper too. I have a 12 foot by 6.5 with 4 foot sides, but I do list on my website that I stand up things vertically if it's safe to do so to create more room. And at the end of the day, I can basically fit the contents of what you could put in an 8 by 8 to 8 by 10 small bedroom. So I believe in transparency, and claiming that your truck is 75 cubic feet larger is not that. So that's it for my rant. All right, we're here at a Home Depot. This is one entrance here, and the other entrance is behind me. So both cars that come in from either direction is going to see the trailer in the middle. There's Home Depot. And so far I've had 2 people drive by that I've noticed that have taken pictures of the trailer. So the thing I kind of want to get into, and I've always been a little curious about, is storage auctions. So when a storage unit has a resident that doesn't want to pay anymore, or they abandoned it, or they passed away or whatever, and the storage unit is just sitting there full of crap, instead of the storage unit hiring a junk removal company to get rid of it, they'll just put it on auction and put it at a low price and let people bid on it to take away their trash, but in hopes of finding some fun little treasures inside. Now, doing the junk removal, which has really opened up my eyes as far as hoarder situations go, is you can do what looks like a piece of crap, like it's just trashed everywhere. There's rat droppings, there's, you know, boxes are eaten out by the little silverfish, and it just looks terrible. But you end up finding like a shoebox full of collector cards, or like hundreds of dollars in coins, or a painting worth $3,000 or whatever. So I know to look for those kind of things, and it's usually in the messier things that are just full of boxes. Now obviously it's going to be very hit or miss. A lot of people just have actual crap in there, but a lot of people have stuff kind of hidden in between that to them maybe wasn't super valuable, but to the right buyer can be. Now, from my research that I've kind of gone through with other YouTube channels and some blogs, it seems that a lot of the bigger units that are really messy don't get purchased as often, because usually the people doing this stuff have like cars or pickup trucks or vans, or they'll rent a box truck to kind of remove stuff, but they don't have the means to handle a 10 by 10, 10 by 20, 10 by 30 storage unit full of crap, especially in the time frame they give you to clean out, which is usually 72 hours. So I think that's where I can come in to shine. And I also think it'd be very beneficial for marketing purposes. So I not only will be parked out by a storage unit for a whole day, I can give my cards and flyers to the manager without having to have a job to get inside, and I'll have a little bit of rapport with them. I can ask about vendor positions. I can put signs out. I can ask if I can leave cards for the other people buying auction for the storage units who need junk removal, for the examples I just gave, and call me to do that, and maybe we can work out like a deal. And it'll be just overall exposure for anyone at the storage unit to see my truck and trailer out for, let's call it a whole day. Whether it's a few hours or maybe even multiple days if it's a big enough unit, who knows? So I just think overall it would be a win-win situation for marketing, and it would be a kind of a fun creative outlet that still deals with junk removal, but not like in a labor sense. So that's something I'm pretty interested in, and again, I've been doing the research on it, so I'll keep an eye out for some cheap ones. I'm thinking of just using the money I make from selling items or from the scrapyard, and I'll use that only to buy stuff, so at the end of the day I'm not actually losing money out of pocket. All right, last stop of the day is by a very busy intersection, which is right here, but it fills up really quickly, and then it's always loaded up with cars. So I'm in about the best position I can be without blocking traffic. So hopefully when they do back up, everyone will sit there and look at my truck, because it is a pretty open parking lot. There's no bushes or trees blocking the view. And I need to head out of here because we are going to meet someone at the storage unit to pick up the vanity. It already sold. It's only been 3 hours, and he's buying it for $100. So we need to go grab all of our metal and then take care of that. And as far as the video goes, I just kind of want to push out that kind of idea I had for pulling in a more creative outlet that I can still utilize a junk removal for, and kind of my path for the future with the business. I do think I am leaning on the self-service route, but of course it is going to depend on if there is enough of a demand for the rentals as far as junk removal goes in general. So a lot of the ones down here are more for construction debris related, so I'm hoping if I can charge a little less because it's going to be a less dense material and open up those options, that I'll be able to pull in a few people here and there. So that is it for me for today. I actually just had a subscriber on YouTube call me. He's in the area. He's gonna be moving up north. He wanted to grab breakfast or lunch, so I think we're doing that tomorrow after the scrapyard. And then I'll probably do another video next week when we do the 2 truck clean out for the condo, and then the one for the assisted living. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.